Hello, and how are you? My name is Tony Woodcock. I'm a lecturer in WIT, I lecture in agriculture and ag science primarily. And the reason I'm making this little video today is because as I'm recording this in January 2021, at this time of the year normally we tend to do a few school visits. Oftentimes teachers ask us to come and talk a little bit about the course, which we're always delighted to do. And just for fifth and particularly sixth year students who are looking at their CAO choices, to tell them a little bit about our courses. And what I want to do is I want to kind of mimic that a little bit and give you a little bit of the information, answer some of the questions that students normally ask about the ag and ag science courses in WIT, because for obvious reasons we can't visit schools, or it's not as practical this year as it will be in other years. So that's the purpose of this little video. I'm not going to make it very, very long. The first question we're always asked, always is, we've got two courses down in WIT, and anybody who's interested in doing ag or ag science will have looked at the CAO, will have looked at the prospectus, and we'll see we've got an agriculture, Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, and a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science. And the first question is always, whether it's open days or school visits, what's the difference between the two? And the difference, there's a number of differences. The first big thing is the Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science is a 4-year honours degree course. So when you come in on the first day, you're signing up to do 4 years of a course, and you leave with a level 8 honours degree at the end of that. The agriculture course is a 3-year level 7 ordinary degree course. Now, it should be noted that if you successfully do those 3 years, you can do a 1-year add-on at the end of that. It's called land management. So you can actually still leave after 4 years with an honours degree, a level 8 degree in your back pocket, but you're signing up to a 3-year degree when you start off in first year. So that's one big difference between the two. One is an ordinary degree, one is an honours degree at the outset. Another big difference, I suppose, is the scientific content. And this is something that students often ask about, sometimes with a little bit of concern. I always try and allay those fears. Don't be concerned. There is more science in agricultural science than there is in agriculture. That's absolutely true. And if you really dislike science and you want to do an ag course, agriculture might be the one for you. But the ag science and the agriculture, they both have a scientific element, and all the science is delivered to you at introductory levels. So sometimes we have concerns. I haven't done chemistry, I haven't done biology. That's fine, we understand that. Most of the students coming in haven't done chemistry, a lot of them haven't done biology, some have just done ag science. That's grand. You might have to knuckle down and work hard, but most of the modules are delivered with 50% lab and 50% exam. That's the way they're assessed. So you'll have a lot of your marks in your pocket even before you go into an exam. So please don't be afraid of that. But there is more science in the agricultural science course than there is in the agriculture course. The agriculture is a more practical course where students spend more time at Kildalton Agricultural College, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. The ag science, first year of ag science is really a science degree. It's 11 out of your 12 modules are common with first science. So first year is very scientific, and then you build on that foundation as you go along. Whereas first year in the agriculture course, actually 4 days out of the 5 you're going to be out in Kildalton in the ag college. Out in Piltown there's a free shuttle bus bringing people in and out. And both the ag and ag science students, but more the agriculture students, but both cohorts will spend a fair bit of time out in Kildalton. It's a fantastic place, it's a fantastic teaching farm. We're very, very lucky to have the connection that we have with Kildalton. And that's where students will do most of their production modules, beef tillage, dairy, looking at grass growth rates and all the rest of it, measuring grass, fertilizer applications, all of that kind of stuff. That all happens out in Kildalton. Like I say, we're lucky to have it, sheep, etc. So that's another big difference. Other things, that the placement in agriculture is in second year, and it's a farm placement. And that's going ahead this year in COVID times, and we're delighted with that. Ag science, the placement happens in third year, and it can be either you have the option of doing farm placement or industry placement. This leads me on to another big question that students ask, and that is, where will I go? After I do my degree, what sort of jobs are out there? And with the ag and the ag science, most of the things that people do will be the same. A lot of people go into technical sales, advisory, those types of things. And when I say they're the same, I'm saying now that if you want to do your level 8, the opportunities are very, very similar. So if you do agriculture and do your land management level 8, the opportunities that you'd have would be very similar to the agricultural science students. And it's all of those. Like, if you think about anybody who calls to the art, somebody from Colombia, from Dairy Gold, somebody selling animal nutrition, any of the advisors, all of those people, the vast majority of them have ag science type degrees, qualifications. And those are the types of roles that you'd be going into. A lot of people start in a kind of a technical sales role and move on through an organisation that way. All of the graduate programs. We have one of the big things I always say is we have a careers day every year for our final year students. And like 50, 60 companies every year come to meet our final year students. The WIT students are very sought after. It's seen by the companies that the level 8 graduates, let's say, coming out of WIT, Ag Science area, you know, really practical, really grounded, really, you know, clued in, but obviously all the technical knowledge as well. So our students are getting jobs. There is, you know, one of the things, and even I was on a call yesterday where, you know, people from industry were saying, like, the industry is very robust. These are very uncertain times, very difficult times for the industry, but the industry is doing well when maybe some others are faltering. People, I suppose that the food chain has to be serviced, and that's still there. And there's loads of challenges, and I suppose graduates coming out in the next number of years will have to try and solve some of those challenges, you know, in terms of climate change and biodiversity and all the rest of it. But the industry is robust. There are jobs, and our graduates seem to be doing very well in the jobs market. So that's really positive as well. In terms of the CAO, just a few things written down here. So last year, agriculture was 327 points, ag science was 377 points. Both of them will give you your green cert. So whether it's the level 7 agriculture, the level 8 ag science, you get your green cert for stamp duty exemption, etc. Haven't done either of those courses. You know, just in terms of what's happening right now, you know, we're open, we're going ahead. Obviously COVID is restricting us, and you know, on-campus activities are very limited currently. Before Christmas all the labs went ahead, although, you know, physically distancing, and you know, 7 was the maximum we had in any lab. So you know, we were curtailed to a certain degree, but the labs did go ahead. Right now, even the labs, the lectures went online before Christmas. The labs and lectures are online now at the moment for the next 6 weeks, and we'll see where we go after that. But you know, that's the same the world over, unfortunately, and that's where we're at. But I really hope, for your sake, for our sake, for everybody's sake, that come September we'll be back to something approaching normality. And that'd be fantastic, because while, you know, we've continued on with the business of educating students across the board, and again, this isn't just ag and ag science, but you know, we've continued on. But there is a big thing missing, I suppose, in the year that's in it, and that is the kind of social interaction element of going to college. So I really hope, and I do expect, you know, with the vaccine being rolled out, that we'll be back to something like normality. Fingers crossed come September. You know, the other things to mention, I suppose, we take in, nearly finished, we take in about 40 to 50 students into ag science every year. We take in about 30 students into agriculture every year. There's also an advanced entry option into agriculture, not ag science, but agriculture, where students can do the level 6, the green cert, you know, what people understand to be the green cert, the level 6 qualification in the likes of Kildalton, and then come into second year of the agriculture course. So we take in 15 students through that route every year as well. But through the CAO, roughly speaking, about 50 into ag science, about 30 into agriculture. And the last thing I would say is that, you know, in terms of what we have going for us down in WIT, and we've got lots, I mean, relatively small numbers. You get to know your lecturers, you have relatively small class sizes, relatively small lab sizes. You are split up in a normal year, 14 is the maximum in a lab, so you get good attention. But the staff, I always think, is really, like, Kildalton, and our access to Kildalton is one of the big positives we have. But the other thing we have is, you know, there's a lot of staff associated with the ag science, you know, degree courses down in WIT. And you know, we're all pretty much all from farming backgrounds, very practical in the way. So, you know, degrees and qualifications and all the rest of it, yeah, absolutely, that goes without saying. But you know, a lot of us are from beef, tillage, dairy, enterprises. There's a couple of people down there who lecture, but are also in the advisory side of things as well, you know. So, like, what you would find is that the people who you'll be talking to, the people who will be teaching you, will understand where you're coming from a practical point of view, as well as be able to educate you on all of the things you need to know to get your degree at the end of the day. Look, if you have any questions at any time as you're thinking about what courses you want to do, I'm the course leader for the agriculture course, the level 7, the more practical one. Tony Woodcock, twoodcock@wit.ie will get me anytime, I'll get back to you. And Michael Breen is the course leader for the ag science course, the level 8 honours degree, mbreen@wit.ie. So again, if you have any questions, be sure and give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you, and we hope to see some of you in person, please God, come September. Okay, thanks.